Welcome to week 2 of Intro to New Testament. Another great week is ahead of us. Very exciting week. We're going to talk about the context of the New Testament. The context is that there's just one context, as well as begin our introduction to the Gospels. Um, I cannot even begin to do justice in the amount of time we have in a vid lecture to talk about this overview, this cultural context, if you will, of the New Testament. There are three forces at play there. We've got the Hellenistic history going on. We've got the Jewish history going on. We've got a Roman history going on, and the interplays and how wars and exiles and all just play into that. So I want to take your readings that in Amer and colleagues and expand that with these videos. Now I have 3 videos for you. One is by Margaret Amer, actually 2 of them, Margaret Amer, the first one. Actually that's the second one. She is the editor, the lead editor on our commentary, our Fortress Press commentary that we're using. And I thought you might like to see her in action, right? That you might actually like to see her presenting. And so she's going to do that in this overview and talk contextually about the New Testament. Another one is by, I believe his name is Gary Burge, and you'll see him. And he does this beautiful piece, again, on the context, but also talks about a couple other dynamics that go on that we need to take into account for reading the Bible. So here's a trick question you're going to have is what are those 3? What are those 3 influences? What difference does it make in our reading of the New Testament? And then I'm going to go back to, and we're going to start with his video, and then Margaret's video, and then we're going to go to this 3rd video, again by Margaret Amer, and that's the introduction to the Gospels. So I think you're going to enjoy watching them. I enjoyed finding them and watching them through. So I hope that you will do the same, and again, so much more than what I can offer you in these few minutes. They're not very long videos, but you are going to want to set aside probably 30, you're going to want to set aside 45, even maybe an hour to do that. But boy, look how much reading you're going to save. This week, I need you to keep reading through those Gospels if you haven't made it through yet, that we're going to be jumping full force, and you really need to have that under your belt. If you have already read them, then start reading ahead into Acts, which really are, for many, part of those Gospels. They're just an extension of Luke. Let's see, what else do we need to be looking at? The other thing I want to say to you, and this really looks ahead into week 3. You will see as you look at week 3 that there are one of the Gospels that you're going to look at in Miller. There is the Q Gospel and there's the Signs Gospel, and you're thinking, what the heck is that? I've never heard of a Q Gospel or a Signs Gospel. Well, if you look. Okay, here, this is kind of controversial for some of us, but it is a reality, okay? And some of this is really new, and it's going to kind of make us uncomfortable, and that, remember, that's okay. When you look at the way the stories play out there between Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John, let's say that too, you can see that Mark is a source for Matthew and Luke. Right? So you have Mark, and some of the stories in Matthew come out of Mark, and Luke come out of Mark. Matthew and Luke come out of Mark. But there are some additional stories that are there. And when you put these pieces together, it's believed that there was this first gospel, if you will, called the Q Gospel. We haven't found that yet. You know, a lot of the books that are in are kind of like additional gospels, right? Additional books, and even more comprehensive of these of the books that we did have, we didn't know them until there was a discovery in 1945, until there had been other fragments discovered that tell us there's more there. We know that in some of the letters, we'll talk about this, that there were probably 3 letters rather than 2 letters. But I'm not going to tell you of which one yet. You have to wait. Anyways, so that's cute. For John, it looks like there was this gospel which has been called the signs gospel. Again, we don't have this yet, but we have from other writings of the time these miracles, these signs that are done, some of which are the same ones that John uses. And telling by that and looking at these other pieces, these other gospels, if you will, these other compilations, right, that tell parts of the Jesus story, again, like Q, we know that they're drawing from another writing, and they call it the signs gospel. Again, some of this is going to make us uncomfortable. Well, how do we know those are real? They're not really the Gospels. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John are the Gospels. And that's all part of how the Bible is put together, which we don't have time to fully cover. I need to talk to Dr. Ruth, to see if he has covered, Dr. Alex, if he has better covered. If you want more information about that, glad to talk to you, glad to point you to some resources. But I think Miller especially you're going to see that in Miller. All right, so that's our reading. That's what I want you to look at. A couple of housekeeping details. One is that I've had to move a couple of people in our cohorts. That's because we gained a student and we lost a student. So I'm trying to do some equalization. It also let me know, last week gave me an idea of where some of us are in our knowledge bases about what we've read, what we haven't read. And I've tried to do more of that so we're a bit more well-rounded in our different groupings. Okay, so that's one piece there. The other is about the discussion forum 1. What did you read in scripture last week? And I obviously did not explain that very well. And I've been doing this now for at least a year, and I have yet to get it where I can describe it. I'm also going to post, I'm pretty sure I have this, the recording of last Saturday's not VidLECTURE, end of week session that we went over that. There was definitely a question about that. What I'm asking you to do, this is about devotional reading. Devotional reading says, I'm devoting myself to reading your word, God. Okay, so I'm not reading it for study. I'm not reading it, to take notes, or I'm just reading what's in front of me. We need to be doing that every day, every other day, at least once a week, and to hold you to that, to teach you that, to help put that into you. We're doing that with these chapters in Hebrew. So last week was a free-for-all, right? It's what did you read in scripture? And some of us said, haven't been reading scripture. So I asked you to be reading devotionally this last week, chapters 1 and 2 of Hebrews. All you do is read it through. I don't have my Bible right in front of me. You would be reading through. And again, you may not have time to read 1 and 2 in one sitting. You might read half of 1 or half of 2 or all of 1 or all of 2, all of that. I'm just asking over the week that you have read through at least once 1 and 2. Now, to build a habit and really to get into the Word, the more we read the Word, the more the Word moves into us. And so if you can read chapters, well, now this week we're reading chapters 3 and 4. So this week, if you can, every day read chapters 3 and 4 in Hebrews. So we're reading, we're pouring into ourselves, and then we ask the question, in that reading, what jumped out and attached itself to you? What attacked you? Like said, oh my gosh, some of us might say, what convicted you, right? What excited you? What did you read in there that excited you? Or what confused you? Or what scared you? I never talked in terms of scaring it. I was teaching this exercise to a regions group. The disciples have regions and a adjudicatory body, right? And I was working with this group of women, their leadership, and I asked that question, and one of the women on leadership, women's ministry leaders, said, "What about what scares you?" I said, "Well, I never thought about scripture scaring you." She said, "Let me tell you how scripture scared me last week." Oh my gosh! So we had to add that. What it spells ACEs, by the way. What attacked you? What confused you? What excited you? What scared you? Just one thing, not one of each thing. It's da 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 or, and you don't take the whole of the scripture, just one thing that popped out, or maybe reading all of chapters 1 and 2 last week, maybe all of it, like just scared the heck out of you, right? So it's just one thing, right? And there we'll go. So read ahead. You can see big week, and we got a couple more big weeks, and then a couple not so big weeks. All right. Have fun. I'm going to see you on the discussion forums if you're able. I will see you on Saturday at the end of week session, and just, oh, I know it's work, and different ones of us bring some stress. I do. Oh my gosh, I'm a perfectionist, a type AAA plus, over the top perfectionist, but do try to have some fun with it, curiosity, and enjoy that one-on-one time with God during your devotions. All right, I'll see you. Bye-bye.